Have you ever known the feeling of being abandoned by others, even feeling like you've been abandoned by God? What is your solace in times like that? I'm Caleb Abernathy. I'm one of the pastors at Christ Memorial Church, and we're in Psalm 88 today, which is the darkest of the Psalms in the Psalter. We don't know much about Heman, the author, but it's clear he's walking through the darkness of being abandoned and judged by God. And this comes in the third book of the Psalter, which reflects Israel's death as a nation in exile. He begins by crying out to God in verse 1 and 2, but then he recounts his death-like state in verses 3 through 5. Listen to verses 4. I am counted among those who go down to the pit. I am a man who has no strength, like one set loose among the dead, like the slain that lie in the grave. And while the psalmist clearly has been abandoned by his friends, he'll say, the fundamental struggle that he faces is that God himself has abandoned him. It is God's wrath that's behind his suffering. Look at verses 14 and following. O Lord, why do you cast my soul away? Why do you hide your face from me? Afflicted and close to death from my youth up, I suffer your terrors. I am helpless. Your wrath has swept over me, and your dreadful assaults destroy me. God is opposing him. God is not answering him. And this leads him to be utterly downcast in verse 18. You have caused my beloved and my friend to shun me. My companions have become darkness. Now this is the darkest psalm in the Psalter. But it is glorious for us because it prophesies Jesus Christ, the one who fully experienced the darkness of God's wrath. In fact, this psalm is really an expose of Jesus' mind when he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Far more than Heman the Ezrahite, Jesus could say, your wrath has swept over me. You have caused my beloved and my friend to shun me. He was despised, rejected, and drained the cup of God's wrath to its dregs. Now, why is Jesus' fulfillment of this psalm good news for you this morning? Because Jesus endured the utter darkness for sinners like you. He endured the wrath of God so that even the darkest clouds that you are facing today will not separate you from the Father's love. And the fact that the Father heard and raised Jesus out of the darkness of death assures you that he will save you from death and from all its corruptions that plague your life. So, if darkness seems to hide his face, rest today on his unchanging grace, a grace bought for you through the suffering of the Son.